right, drivers, cars in gear, parking brakes released. Let's work our way out towards the track. All right, make sure we have all of the windows up, passenger side as well as driver's side, so that the wind and noise won't mask the radio transmissions as we're talking here. All right, we're going to work our way out to the pit lane here, so follow my lead as we bypass the lower handling oval here in progress. As we head out to pit lane, it's time to focus. Concentrate 100% on the task at hand. And what we're doing now is beginning to learn the track. So that comes from getting our eyes up, looking ahead, seeing what's around the next corner so we can plan for what we need to do. So that's the whole idea. Get an idea of what's coming up next, which gives us time to plan for it so we avoid being surprised. Visualize that the lead Camaro here is leaving tracks in fresh snow, and you want to copy where I'm placing this car on the track. So I'll be an example for you to follow here. Okay, George, if you could roll that passenger window up, please. Right side window, if you can roll that up. All right, let's work our way out onto the track, and up to third gear is all we need at this point. We're going to do some slow laps here, giving you plenty of time to look at the track. As we come onto the track, we have an entrance protocol. Every time we look at our left side door mirrors, verify the track's clear behind us, stay to the right of that dotted line. That's called a blend line. We stay to the right of the track until we get to the white near apex cone, then we can move on to the line if the track is clear. So we do that each and every time we enter the track. All right, go ahead and put your cars into third gear, and we'll leave them there so we don't have to worry about shifting. We're learning about the lines. Now, when you see me putting tires on an apex curb, I would like you to copy that as well. Coming out of turn 1 here, we're turning left into turn 2. We want to be in the middle of the road in these long sweeping corners. So if you look at the road surface, you can see where the paving machines came through here and did 3 runs. We want to be in that middle run. Now, right about here, Fred, we're going to bring our car down to the apex. We're going to put our tires on the curbing next to this cone. Look up the hill, see the exit curve on the right. We come out to the right next to this curbing without actually driving on it. Keep our tires on the asphalt. All right, now we're setting over to the left here for turn 3. We have a turn-in cone here on the left, and then an apex further around the corner. So we turn at the turn-in cone, put our tires on the curb next to the apex cone, then hold your steering wheel stationary. Come out next to this white line on the left. That is considered the edge of the track. So if we go over that white line, technically we're off the racing surface. In the chicane here, we want to avoid this curve where the white cone is. So we actually turn left a little bit as we approach that, stay away from it, then turn right, and come down the hill into turn 4. Look out your left side window, you'll see the apex cone here. Drive the car on the curb down to that apex. We sweep out of turn 4, coming out next to this exit curve on the right, and then continue turning left all the way up the hill to line up with our turn-in cone on the left here for turn 5A. So 5A and 5B, basically one corner with 2 apexes. The first apex is really long. We want our tires on that red and white curbing from between both of those tall cones. For 5B, we turn the car a little sharper so that we can straighten the wheel sooner and head straight down the hill towards the kink. At the kink, notice here, Fred, that I don't rush over to the right. I start turning just a little bit before the apex and then come out almost to the middle of the road as we'd have to sweep over to the turn-in cone on the right for turn 6. So here we are coming to the apex of 6 in a straight line here to slow down for 7, turn into the apex of 7, and then unwind out to the left side of the track. All right, Fred, over to the right if you would, please. And Jack, followed by Lyndon and George, come on by on the left, and you'll tuck in at the back there, Fred. All right, Jack, looking down the road here, we have 3, 2, 1 countdown boards and a turn-in cone. So these boards are not They don't mean anything other than that they are a reference spot that's not going to move. So when we start establishing our braking points, we've got something to refer to. All right, just like turn 1 here, we come into the near apex cone and back out to the middle of the road. And around turn 8 here is the apex and a turn-in cone for 9. So we want to stay to the right until we get to the turn-in cone. Then we change direction. Go to the left. Stay to the left until you get to the turn-in cone. And now we're set up for turn 10. Turn 10, I'd like you to straddle that apex curving. Get in closer to the cone so that your right tires are driving on the asphalt between the concrete curb and the apex cone. So we straddle that curve, makes that corner a little straighter. All right, we've now completed 1 lap. So now we are turning in at the turn-in cone for turn 1, 3 to 5 feet from that white near apex cone on the right, and then back out to the middle. So that's standard procedure in these long turns. Now we're having a shortcut coming up here. We're going to touch the curb at this apex cone and then immediately straighten the wheel. So notice how I'm over here to the left, and Fred, you're a little too close to me. You need to be about 5 car lengths behind, if you would, please, so that you can see around the car and see where we're going. Our first few laps are very slow, so we can see the track clearly and start to think about it. All right in the middle of the road there. Way too far to the outside there, Jack. We want to bring the car in here. Yeah, bring it in, good. Into the apex, smoothly out to the outside here, Jack, as we look around the corner. We're getting in position for approach to turn 3. Turning cone, look over to the right, see the apex cone around the corner. At the turning cone, nice and smooth. Bring the car down into the apex. On the curb, now hold the steering wheel stationary as we come out to the white line on the left, and then we can unwind and begin to accelerate towards the chicane. At the apex here, the chicane, we turn left a little bit, so we're 5 feet away from that curve on the right. Then we turn right, go to the next apex, straighten the wheel momentarily, and then turn into the apex as you look around the corner, seeing where we need to go next. Good, looking up the hill, we smoothly come out to the exit curve. Look around the corner, look for the turn-in cone for turn 5A up here on the left. Good, at the turning cone, we'll change direction. Push your tires on the first red tape here on the right. Hug the inside of this corner, all the way from one end to the other, and that lines us up for 5B. 5B, we turn the car a little sharper to the right so we can unwind the wheel sooner and go straight down the hill, driving over the end of the curve on the left as we go in a straight line to the kink. Got the kink. Avoid making this a dog leg. Make it a nice sweeper over to the right, and then we turn at the turning cone here and go to the apex of 6. Touch the curve next to the apex, and then we'll straighten the wheel. This will be a braking zone for 7. At 7, we turn into the corner, that first turn in, go to the apex, unwind all the way out to the exit curve. All right, Jack, over to the right if you would, please. Lyndon, followed by George and Fred. Come on by on the left. All right, Lyndon, looking down ahead here, we see our braking zone with the countdown boards there and that turn-in cone on the left. Around the corner on the right, I can start to see that near apex cone, so we're going to go from the turn-in cone on the left to within 5 feet of that white cone here on the right. Then back out to the center seam of the paving. All right, our apex curve is up here, our apex cone next to the curbing. Touch the curve next to the cone, stay to the right until you get to the turn-in cone, and then turn left. Set up on the left for turn 10, and remember the apex here at turn 10 goes under the middle of the car, so put your right tires on the pavement between the curb and the cone. All right, look ahead here, our turn-in cone for turn 1. And we're further around the corner than near apex. So we start from the left side of the road, come over about 5 feet from the right side of the road at that near apex, and then back to the center. Shortcuts coming up here. We want to get to the apex, immediately straighten the wheel so that our left tires will be near that white line on the left as we start turning into turn 2. Yeah, that shortcut's very important. It balances the car before we change direction. The middle of the road here, turn 2. And lift it right about now. Bring it down to the apex. Drive on the curb, but look up the hill. Past the apex all the way to the exit curve. So we're starting to get planning our exit. Turn-in cone up here on the left for turn 3. This will be a deceleration area when we're going faster. We will balance the car into the corner, so we keep moving that steering wheel, get to the apex, hug the inside of the corner, and then keep your steering wheel stationary as we come out next to this white line on the left, and then unwind it as we look ahead to the chicane so we can accelerate out of that corner. Right, turn to the left a little bit, avoid the curve with the white cone. Turn to the right, touch the curve here, go straight for a moment, and then when you're about a car width away from that white curving on the left, begin your left turn on the apex here. So we weren't looking far enough around the corner there, Lyndon. We need to see where that apex is and do everything we can to get on that curve without making extreme corrections. All right, looking around the corner here, we'll turn at the turning cone, put our right tires on the first part of red paint here. First red paint, toward the inside of that corner. Perfect. Out to the left here, turn sharper. Notice how the car turns tighter to the right, get to the apex, and then unwind straight. Straight down the hill, drive over this curving, the end of the curving on the left. That allows us to go straight to the kink. Here, we let the car almost out to the middle of the road, back over to the turning cone, and then we change direction on the apex curving here on the left, and then we'll be in a braking zone for turn 7. Go to the turning cone, then change direction, get to the apex, and then unwind all the way out to the exit curve. All right, Lyndon, over to the right if you would, please. And George, followed by Fred. Jack, come on by on the left, and you'll tuck in at the back there, Lyndon. All right, George, looking ahead. Braking zone coming up with a turning cone down there. We'll be going straight until we get to the turning cone. Then we'll bring the car from the left side of the road over to 5 feet from this white cone on the right. And then back out smoothly to the middle of the road, looking around the corner, trying to see our apex and that turning cone. Now, a lot of people turn left at the apex. We want to stay to the right until we get to the turning cone, then turn left. That gives us a better approach to turn 10. All right, straddle the apex here at 10. Look under the bridge as you come around the corner so we know when to begin unwinding the steering coming out to the left side of the road. All right, turning cone for 1. Further around the corner will be the near apex, so we smoothly go from the left side of the road to within 5 feet of this white cone on the right, and then back out to the middle. Same path as we used in turn 8. Into the apex here. Now notice how I straighten the wheel immediately and go over to the left side of the road, and then we'll into the middle of the road as we enter turn 2. Hold it out here in the middle. And right about now, George, bring it down to the apex, on the curve, look up the hill to the exit curve so we can smoothly unwind out to the next to this curving, as we'll be accelerating out of turn 2. This will be a braking area for turn 3. At the turning cone, we're going to change direction, put the right tires on the curb next to the apex cone, and then hold your steering wheel stationary. Let the car come out next to this white line, and then we can unwind and accelerate towards the chicane. So remember, avoid the curb with the white cone. A little bit of a left turn at the first apex, get away from that curb. A little bit of a right turn for the second orange cone. Then straight for a moment, look out your left window, and continue turning down into the apex. And drive right on that curve. You'll feel it. You'll hear the tires squealing on the paint. That's telling you got to the apex. So we take a nice wide arc here, smoothly working our way over to the left side of the track to the turning cone. At the turning cone, change direction. Right tire goes on the first red paint, towards the inside of this corner, and that lines us up for the approach to 5 feet. Excellent. All right, light. We'll turn in tighter here, get to the apex, straighten the wheel immediately so we can drive in a straight line over the end of this curving on the left as we head directly to the kink. We don't want to set up for the kink, we just go straight towards it. Just before we get to the curve, we start turning, and that lets the car come out almost to the middle of the road and then smoothly over to the right. So we want to avoid making a dog leg out of the kink. That's too fast for that sudden maneuver. Apex at 6, lines us up for our braking area here for 7. Straight line from the turning cone and then into the apex and unwind out. Okay, over to the right there, George, if you would, slow it way down, and I'm going to have Fred, Jack, and Lyndon come by, and we're going to pull in front of George here and come over to this right here and stop. We're going to get a little bit of a gap on this group in front of us so we can pick up the pace from this point on. Don't need to signal except when we're getting ready to exit the track. So just smoothly pull over, get in line here. We'll just wait for our gap, and then we'll begin our run. We'll pick up the pace a little bit in 4th gear. Did you say stay in third gear? No, when we pull away, we're going to work our way up to fourth gear. Getting a big gap here so we can run uninterrupted at a little faster pace. Okay, let's work our way out back onto the line and up to fourth gear. And we'll start talking about balancing the car here. So up to fourth gear. All of our slowing down is to be done in a straight line with the exception of the end of turn 8. We'll see why here in a moment. So we'll be coming along in fourth gear here, coming into turn 8, out to the middle here. Now, turn 8, we do have to slow down while we're turning. So this is where we slow the car down here, Fred. We get to the turning cone, and then we go from firm pressure on the brakes to light pressure to help the car change direction, then back to light throttle. Light brakes here as we help the car turn into 10, light throttle past the apex, and then as you straighten the wheel, roll into the throttle, start to accelerate. Is not slowing down. The brakes are on, but we're balancing only. We're carrying light pressure on the brakes to carry our momentum into the corner. So there's no deceleration going into one, simply balancing. Now at the shortcut, touch the curb, straighten the wheel, and as you do, roll into the throttle, and then brush the brakes lightly to help the car turn left, and then back to light throttle, steady speed, middle of the road, just in the middle of the road. And right about there, Fred, we're going to bring it down to the apex. And then as we pass the apex, we'll unwind out next to the exit curve and start to accelerate. All our slowing down is done before we get to the turning cone. So adjust your speed so that at the turning cone, you're happy with that speed to go through the corner. Then light brakes, balancing in, light throttle, keeping your speed steady until we begin to unwind the wheel, and now we can accelerate. Now watch my brake lights here. After the dip in the road, right there is where your brakes are applied. Light brakes for forward here, no slowing down, help the car turn, keep adjusting the wheel, get to the apex. Unwind out to the right as we accelerate up the hill, looking for our turning cone up here. We'll brake straight for a moment to slow the car down, and then we bounce with the brakes into 5A. Light throttle across the apex there up to the top here. Light brakes for a little sharper turn to the right, no slowing down there, just help the car turn, and then unwind and accelerate straight down the hill to the gate. Remember our transition here, nice and smooth over to the right. Light brakes for 6, no slowing down here, just light brakes, help the car turn, get to the apex, then we slow the car down in a straight line. And then light brakes as we enter 7, light throttle past the apex, unwind out to the left. All right, looking good, Fred, over to the right if you would please. Slow her down nice and easy, and Jack, Lyndon, and George, come on by on the left as we pick up the pace here. So Jack, our braking area is here. Remember, our slowing down stops at the turning cone. That's the speed we've chosen to carry into the corners. Now the brakes are only for balance. Light pressure. Light throttle, and then at the end of the corner, we slow the car down, get to the turning cone, and then go to light brakes to help the car turn, light throttle to maintain momentum. Light brakes here, straddle the apex. We'll look under the bridge as we roll into the throttle out to the left. All right, braking for balance only, going into turn 1.
Got some cones back here.
The near apex, back out to the middle. You gotta go to the near apex, otherwise we run wide.
Guy in front of me got some cones.
Think about our shortcut. Get to the apex here, the wheel. Yeah, see, help the steering wheel too long. See how you darted over to the right there while I was going straight? You gotta look further ahead. Remember, if we're trying to go too fast, we're gonna make mistakes. So be precise. Go as fast as you're capable of here without making mistakes. So look ahead, eyes up, anticipate what we need to do. We slow down in a straight line.
There's some cones.
No more slowing down. Just light brake, back to light throttle, get to the apex, steady speed. We'll get to the apex a little bit. So when we do that, we'll make the enough traffic here, so we're going to back off on the pace. But be very precise on placing the car, even though we're going a little slower here. Alright, we can shift down to third gear if we need to. It's a little slow for fourth gear. Remember our line here, wide to the exit curve, sweeping around here to the turning cone for 5A. Brake for balance as we turn into 5A, then light throttle, keep your speed steady as we go through 5A, getting in position for 5B. Then light brakes, turn the car sharper to the right, and then immediately straighten the wheel. Smoothly bring the car over to the turning cone here for turn 6. Light brakes to balance, helping the car turn without slowing it down. Get to the apex, then we will slow down in the straight line here, and then back to light brakes as we turn into 7. Light throttle, past the apex, unwind out to the left.
34 hit some cones back there.
Okay, over to the right if you would there, Jack. And slow way down. We're going to have everybody come by you and we're going to pull in front of you. So Lyndon, George, and Fred, you're going to pull by the red car there. And we're going to pull over to the right here and get a gap on this group in front of us as well. Okay, this is 10 on the back straight here, just waiting to get some space, and are we still waiting for cones to be reinstalled? And we're just going to hang tight here, get some cones reinstalled. All right, gentlemen, let's head back out on the track here and up to fourth gear. So Lyndon, follow me out here. All right, get to the turning cone and then brush the brakes lightly, carry that light pressure into the corner, and then back to light throttle to maintain our momentum. And then we start slowing the car down here as we come to the end of turn 8. Stay to the right till you get to that turning cone, then use light brakes to help the car turn left. Brush the brakes to help the car turn right, and look under the bridge as we come around the corner to help you decide when to straighten the wheel, because you want to avoid driving on that exit curve. All right, Lyndon, brake lights out here only for balance. No slowing down. Just carry that momentum into the corner, and then back to light throttle. Now it's back out to the middle of the road. Thinking about our shortcut here, so we're going to bring the car down to the apex. Straighten the wheel as we accelerate to the left side of the track, and then brush the brakes lightly to help the car turn back into the middle of the road, steady speed. Nice, right there, looks good. Hold it there. Now, bring it down to the apex. Tires on the curb, look up the hill to the exit curve. Brake straight for turn 3. Firm pressure right from the beginning, and then as we turn in, relax that pressure on the brakes. Carry that light braking in, then light throttle past the apex out to the white line, and then as we unwind the wheel, we can roll into that throttle and accelerate. Don't brake too early here. Get to the apex right there, and then in the dip, apply the brakes. Look left, balance here for turn 4, then back to light throttle, steady speed to the apex, and try to get to those apexes to make those corners as straight as we can. Therefore, we can go faster. Slow down straight for 5A, and then carry light brakes into the corner. Onto the apex with light throttle to keep our momentum as we go up the hill there. Out to the left, light brakes, turn the car sharper to the right, and then unwind and accelerate straight. Touch the curb on the left. It's okay to do that. That's a target. You can aim for that as you're coming out of the corner. Smoothly over to the right here. Light brakes only for 6. Off the brakes, then get to the apex, and then as you straighten the car, slow the car down. Light brakes into 7, light throttle past the apex, and then unwind out to the left as you accelerate. All right, Lyndon, not bad. Go to follow in the right, please, if you would. Nice and smooth, yeah, nice and smooth. And George, followed by Fred Jack. Come on by on the left. All right, George, braking area here. Here's where we slow the car down. Once we turn, no more slowing down. We have made our decision. We're going to carry that speed into this corner with light brakes to help the car turn. Then light throttle. At the end of this corner, begin your braking so that we can slow the car down for this left turn. Get to that turn-in cone, then turn left. All right, stay to the left, get to the turning cone, then turn right and straddle the apex curve here. Look under the bridge, unwind smoothly out to the left as you roll into the throttle. Excellent exit, nicely done. Had the car turned enough before the apex so you can straighten the wheel as you are leaving the corner. All right, light brakes only into turn 1. No slowing down here. Carry your momentum. Cut's coming up here, so get to the apex here on the right, straighten the wheel, accelerate to the left side of the track, and then light brakes. Yeah, so you were still a car width away from that white line on the left there, George, so we want to straighten that wheel up a little sooner at the apex cone. Unwind out, look up the hill, look for that turning cone up there on the left, so we sweep smoothly over to it. Brake straight, light brake. Straight down the hill, get to the kink. Start your turn just before the curve and then smoothly bring the car over to the right. Into the apex here, stay to the left, this will be our braking zone. And then light brakes into 7, keep adjusting that wheel so we get on the curve. And as we pass the apex curve, we should begin to unwind out to the left. We don't want to continue turning any longer than we have to. So if we're aimed correctly, we can actually start straightening the wheel up as we're going by the apex, which means we can start to accelerate. All right, George, just hang tight where you are. Just follow me here. We'll just, remember, go to the turning cone here on the left, so it's a straight run until the turning cone. Then we bring the car over to the near apex cone and then back out to the center lane, just like turn 1. Apex cone here on the right. Make sure we don't turn left at the apex cone. Stay next to the curb until you get to the turn-in, then hang a left. And that way you have a better angle through 9. Stay to the left until you get to the turning cone on the left side, then turn, and that gives you a better angle onto the front straight. And sweep out next to that exit curve. We want to use the full width of the road. All right, as our normal procedure will be from this point on, our last lap will be a cool-down lap. So we're just going to hold the pace down here a little bit, leave it in 4th gear, we're good. And focus on the line, though. Look around the corner, start to think about what's coming up next so you can be prepared for it. So what's coming up next is our shortcut. We want to touch the curve here on the right next to this cone and then immediately straighten the wheel. So follow me over here to the left. Follow my tracks, my imaginary tracks in the snow. What that does, by going straight for a moment, the car settles. If we just go from a right turn to a left turn without any brake in between, the whole weight of the car changes from one side of the suspension to the other. That unstable or destabilizes the car. So if we go straight for a moment, the car levels itself out, and then when we change direction, it only tips halfway, so it's a lot less disruptive to the balance of the car. So that's the theory there. Plus, that particular area gives us a little bit of place to accelerate, so we take advantage of that as well. All right, at the turning cone here, look around the corner, make sure we get to the apex. This is the trickiest corner on the track for some reason. We want to get our tires on that curb, and then we hold the steering wheel stationary as we come out next to the white line, and then, and only then, can we begin to unwind the wheel and accelerate towards the chicane. So remember, avoid that curb on the right with the white cone. Turn left a little bit, then turn right, get to the second apex, go straight for a moment, and try not to be any more than a car width or so away from this white curbing on the left. And that way you're close enough to the inside of the corner, you can get to the apex. Yeah, you just saw that, George. We held that, we went a little too far away from the inside of the corner, and you had to make a big correction to get down to that apex. So try to anticipate that. Don't get too far away from the inside. About a car width away as you're entering turn 4. All right, onto our apex at 5A here, hug the inside of the corner, and that lines us up for the turn-in cone here. Now here we physically turn the car a little sharper, get to that apex so we can straighten the apex. We can straighten the wheel and accelerate down the hill, touching the curb on the left as we go past the end of it there, directly to the kink. Smoothly over to the turning cone. We do not want to make a dog leg out of the kink. We want to make a right-hand sweeper. Into the apex here, stay to the left. This is our braking area. At the turn-in cone, get the car rotated, so get it turned so that at the apex we can begin straightening the wheel, sweeping out all the way to almost to the end of the exit curve. All right, now we will put our right turn signals on to indicate that we're going to exit the track with this lap. We'll stay on the line though, we never deviate from the line. So we have one more chance to practice our line through turn 8. The turn-in cone on the left, near apex cone on the right. And then further around the corner we have that apex cone, and then just past it on the right is the turn-in cone for turn 9. So we want to make sure we're paying attention to all 4 of those cones. The only difference this lap is that at the turn-in cone here for 9, we're not going to turn left. We're going to continue straight into our exit lane. All right, eyes up, watch for brake lights in front of you. We're going to work our way back across the lower paddock and back to our original parking spots. All right, we are going to work our way through the traffic here for the exercise that's going on the lower paddock here. So just follow me, eyes up. So from our first run here, you can see how important it is to have your eyes up, looking ahead, gathering that visual information so you have time to plan what you need to do for that upcoming corner off in the distance so you don't get surprised by anything. We want to have a plan in place before we get to that corner so that way we can be smooth with our control operations. We can place the car accurately with plenty of time to do that, and that smooths things out, makes us able to go faster. All right, we're going to work our way around the end of the building here, and as before, when you come to a stop, make sure that parking brake is applied before you shut the motor off, and then once the engine's off, go ahead and pop the car into gear before you exit the vehicle. And we'll be exiting the cars here and do a little debrief next to the cars. So getting close enough so we can get all 4 cars lined up nose to tail here along the end of the building. And that was a good session, gentlemen.